Hello and welcome to another Keller Williams Realty Technologies presentation. Today we are continuing our Systems for Success series. We will be discussing managing your contacts with eEdge. There's a little bit of a difference between this Success series and the others because in this Success series we're going to be following the eEdge Quick Start Guide that we have provided for you all through the KW Technology team. So we will be looking at that document. I'll be showing that to you here in just a moment, but I did want to mention in your GoToWebinar toolbar, you should see handouts. It's one of 5 handouts on there, and you'll see the eEdge Database Quick Start Help Guide. You can download that at any time, and we will be referring to that handout. You don't necessarily need it for today's to follow today's presentation, but it will be good for you to have for the future. And as I mentioned, I will be referring to this particular document. Please let us know through the GoToWebinar questions module if you have any questions or problems with the handouts. Okay, great. Let's continue on. Your database, as you hopefully know, is a record of your business success and the potential business you could have. Your database is where you're going to record all the information about your contacts. You're going to track all the interaction that you've had with them. You're going to assign them to the appropriate marketing campaigns. You're going to continue to cultivate your relationship with that contact or with your database. It's really a living record of your business relationships. And as Gary Keller says and always has always said, your business is your database. Now, as a part of Keller Williams, you have a robust contact management system called, it's within eEdge. eEdge is what we call the complete lead to close agent business solution, and eEdge is the components of your contacts, your leads, your contacts, your marketing, and of course, my transactions. It's as we mentioned, your lead to close system. So let's look at how you can manage your contacts using eEdge. And we're going to do that following these 4 steps. All right, the first is going to be creating group labels to manage your contacts. The second is importing all of your contacts into eEdge. The third step is exploring the eEdge contact summary page. And the last is starting a habit of adding every new contact to eEdge. In order to follow these steps, in order to get full instructions on that, we can capture the eEdge Database Quick Start Guide. And as I mentioned, it's sitting in your eEdge toolbar. And I do believe, if I can remember exactly how to do this, yes, let's do let me try that and see if you all can see this on your screen. Okay, I don't have that available, but that's okay because you all should see it on the screen here. So get your eEdge Database Quick Start Guide. Please let me know if you have any questions on that, and you can download it directly from the webinar right here under handouts, yes. So you all can take care of that at your leisure. And we're going to continue while you all are doing that, and as I mentioned, you can review that document later. So the first is creating group labels to manage your contacts, and that is going to be found on page 20 of the eEdge Database Quick Start Guide. Now let's look at that. The first thing that the eEdge Start Guide is going to tell you is to get to your contacts, really to access them. And you're going to begin by doing that on mykw.kw.com, and you'll click on the View Contacts link within your eEdge control panel. Happy to highlight that for you all. So as I mentioned, you're going to just click on My Contacts. You can click on that plus sign. You can also click on View Contacts. Either one of those will take you to your contact screen. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and dive into the live environment so that you can see exactly what that looks like. Once again, we're visiting mykw.kw.com, and you all should see a live version of MyKW on the screen at this time. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger for you all. There we go. So let's click on View Contacts. So the first thing to ask ourselves when we are creating groups, when we're looking at our group labels, and we're going to do that in My Contacts. And you'll notice if I hover over contacts, one of the choices I have here is Manage Groups. So we're going to click on Manage Groups, and here is where we can create our group names. We're going to create our new group name, and then we can save those names. So let's start to think about what kinds of names would we use for our groups. These are some examples. One of the things we want to be sure that you all are not doing, and we have it here as an example to show you, is just the word 33 touch, because our 33 touches will be sent to particular groups. So that is one that we're not going to want to have. So we want to make sure that that is removed. You'll notice we have 12 direct for a specific farm. We have those clients that we consider active or even considered hot. These would be agents that we met at Family Reunion. These are people that are currently have FSBOs. These are buyers that we want to send the 8x8 to. That's anybody that we capture as a new buyer. We definitely want to put them in the hot buyers 8x8. And you'll notice some additional groups that we have. Not everyone is going to have the same groups. You have a lot of options for groups. So imagine what kind of groups would you have? And I'd love for you all to start throwing out some ideas. We do want to make this an interactive webinar, and I will repeat those online. I'll just mention your first name. But we do have, so what are some of the groups that you would create? You could create groups by interest. Let's say art, or even a sport such as golfing or even volleyball if you're with a group. Maybe even geographic area. That's a neighborhood. That's what we call a farm or a niche. By the type of contact, are they a renter, investor? Are they a first-time home buyer? By rating, and you may be familiar with the A, B, C, or D ratings. You also have the statuses in eEdge, which is going to be hot, cold, warm. So those are some, you determine on what those are called. It's entirely up to you. We have some other here that say specific subdivisions. Thank you, Bonnie. That's a good example of farming and school. The PTA is what Mark is actually had mentioned. That's excellent. Now, when it comes to the school PTA, or even organizations that were a part of sports groups and so forth, remember, we have METs in those groups, and we have not METs in those groups. So we need to think about that too. You could break those groups down even further to the METs and have not METs, and want to bring those have not METs into the METs groups. And you'll do that by cultivating those relationships. So the first thing is, what are your groups? What are the names of your groups? And how do you want to categorize those groups? You want to start thinking about that. Nan came in with referrals, and Renee came in with Chamber of Commerce. These are all excellent suggestions. So let's create the groups by just creating a new group name. So let's look at some of the examples. We're going to go the school PTA, and we're going to take it a step further. We're going to do METs, and we're going to save that, and we're going to get the have not METs. We should be able to collect their contact information and move them from have not METs to METs. And Barbara breaks down by city so that she can send statistic specifics to that area. And Barbara, you get a gold star for that suggestion, because that's a most excellent idea. And what I want the audience to know is that we have some really great touches in there, some really great newsletters. And those newsletters are newsletters that you're going to want to Those are newsletters you're going to want to customize for your specific area, but as Barbara does, she breaks it down by specific city so that she sends those specific cities their specific information. That is information that people are going to want. It's coming from contribution, and that's being hyper-local. So great job on that, Barbara. I like that idea. All right, next thing we want to look at is, let's look at importing all of our contacts into eEdge. That's going to be the second item on our list. Now you can add a group of contacts into eEdge by queuing them for import. Now before doing so, we want you to clean up your database. No better time to clean up your database than if you are just now entering people into eEdge, or if you're moving to your My Contact system. Even if you're moving to another contact management system, you definitely want to start cleaning up your database. Hey, first of the year, best time to clean up your database. All right, so you can add them. You can clean up your database first, and then you need to export that database. So if your database lives in Outlook, if it lives in Top Producer or MyRedTools, we have some CSV files already, some templates already created for you that you can easily download and use. If you use any other contact management system, as someone's asking, what about Gmail? Gmail, you would have to export those contacts, and then you're going to import those contacts into the custom import template that you have available in eEdge. Now, just like you would within in My Contacts where we were managing groups, we can use the import-export drop-down import-export option out of our contacts drop-down menu. All right, and then you'll notice you have 3 steps to importing, and just like we did a moment ago, let's go into the live environment to give you a better idea of what that looks like. All right, get back to my KW. And just for consistency's sake, we'll start from the beginning where we can click on View Contacts. And then we'll hover over Contacts and click on Import Export. And when we do that, it's going to ask us what type of file do we have. So the first thing we have to do is export our Outlook, Top Producer, MyRedTools, or we export our basic contact list. That would be anything else. And when we click on Basic Contact List, you'll notice you have the option to download the Basic Contact List template. It's going to ask you where you want it. It will download it for you, as I've just shown you here on the bottom left-hand part of the screen. Now, if I click on that link, it's going to open it, and it is going to open a CSV file where we're going to put in our first name, last name, email address. So basically, we're going to copy the first name out of your the template you've exported. Copy the last names, paste them into the special template for eEdge. Now, one thing to remember, we have to have these fields: first name, last name, email address, and or phone number, and or physical address. Those are all fields that are required. And again, it's and or. First name, last name is required. Email address is required. If you don't have the email address, you can use the phone number and or the physical address. You really do need the email address if you are going to want to send them campaigns. So that's what the template looks like. Once we add that, we're going to save the template to our hard drive, And once it's saved to our hard drive, then the next thing we're going to do is we can download that entire file into eEdge My Contacts. We can break that file apart and add them in sections, which is a lot easier to do because we're going to want to add everybody into a group. You're going to most likely want to put everybody on a campaign. It's always easier to do that if you have everybody grouped together. So if you take parts of your template out, in other words, you grab maybe the first 5 fields and then the remaining 15 fields, and you put those individuals in a single template, well, then you're going to be able to save that template and then upload those individuals as their specific status. Maybe it's warm, maybe they're all buyers, and add them to any one of these lists, which is going to be our school, PTA, METS. And then now we can choose the file. When we click on the file, we'll be able to find the file in our downloads, open that file, and then we want to agree. Yes, I agree that everybody that's in this list has opted in to receive email, and then you'll click import. That's the process for importing. Now the last piece is exploring eEdge contact. Well, it's not the last, I should say. The number 3 is exploring eEdge contact summary page. In order to access the summary page, once again, we're going to click on View Contacts. You could click on My Marketing. Any one of those will take you to the dashboard, but clicking on View Contacts would be the quickest way to access it. And now we can choose our contact of record. Once again, let's just quickly dive into the live environment and show you exactly what that looks like under My Contacts. So here is a list of our contacts. You all will see that on the screen here. And now we can click on the contact's name. Now, before we do that, you'll notice there are some additional icons here at the bottom. The Google is going to allow you to find anybody named Steve Simmons. That's a popular name. But if they have an unpopular name and they're the only person, it will probably find them pretty easily, but it does that. It does a Google search for a person with that name. This will tell you that they left their phone number, the home phone number, and you'll notice if you hover over it, the phone number comes up. You will also notice that they requested pre-approval. So it's good to read the bottom lines just to see how active, how hot, warm or cold this lead, this contact is. And then you might even see a Facebook icon on there. If you see the Facebook icon, that means that they logged into your website using their Facebook login, which will immediately get you to their Facebook page. That's very, very helpful. All right, so we're going to click on Steve Simmons. Here is our contact. This is our summary page, and right here it's under the summary tab, so everything listed here is considered the summary. In order to make any changes to the summary page, you need to click on the edit button, and then you can start to make your changes. This is his nickname, likes to be called Steve-O. We know he's a male. He works for Bob's Barn House Bargains. He is the manager. See, we want to add as much information in here as possible. The birthday message, the birthday option is new. This is awesome. You can add their birthday and you will get a reminder to add them to a birthday campaign, or you can add them immediately to a birthday campaign, I should say, by doing that. And if they purchased a house from you at their purchase anniversary, you can click on purchase anniversary date as well. So complete all of the information that you can. Once you've done that, make sure you save the record. You're going to add additional details. This would be for a spouse or a partner, where they found you or how you found them, all kinds of great information can be added to the summary page tab. So that's where we're gonna add additional information, everything that we can about that new contact. All right, now we will be lead generating. That is what we have been taught to lead generate at least 3 hours a day, and throughout the day you're also going to be lead generating. Now hopefully you're getting into the habit of adding every new contact to eEdge, and that's not writing them down as you're contacting them directly. That is adding them to eEdge on your PC. And if you don't have a PC readily available to you, well, you can use eEdge on the go. So through eEdge on the go, you are able to pull out your mobile device, visit mykw.kw.com as you normally would, and that will take you to eEdge on the go, once again, if you're using your mobile device. Now from there, you can start to add your new contacts. This would come in handy at those times that you are not next to your PC, when you're standing there in the grocery store line, when they have just handed you a small piece of paper with their contact information written on it. Don't put that in your pocket. Put that in your eEdge on the go immediately. Get them on a campaign. Heck, you can even send them an email directly from that location. So you meet them, you get them to give you their contact information. You immediately send them a welcome email. They're going to know you're Johnny on the spot and be able to react. And you're going to be able to react. You're going to be able to react on behalf of them if you are serving them, especially at a time where time is certainly of the essence. Okay, here is your action plan. First is you want to create group labels to manage your contacts. We showed you how to do that. Plus, if you go into your eEdge Quick Start, walks you through each step. Import all of your contacts into eEdge. Remember, it's important to clean up your database. Separate your database out by groups. It would make it a lot easier to import them. If you're going through the trouble of cleaning them out, break them into groups and then import them. Explore the eEdge contact summary page on each of your contacts. Make sure as much information as possible is completed. What a great opportunity to reach out to all of your contacts, asking them to share their birthdays with you. And then start a habit of adding every new contact to eEdge, and you can do that using eEdge on the go and, of course, throughout your lead generating efforts. All right, let's look at the questions that have come through. Thank you all very much. You've been very interactive today. We certainly appreciate it. Diane asked a great question. By removing a group, does that remove the contact from the database or just from the group? It just removes them from the group, Diana. You will never, you don't delete the members in the group. They just, they break out of that shell and they're just sitting on their own. You can also add individuals to multiple groups. Oh, I love this. Allison, what a great suggestion. Listen to this one, ladies and gentlemen. I have a group called Has a Phone Number, so I can use eEdge on the go on my cell and streamline calling my database quarterly. Super smart, Allison. I love that idea. I'm going to totally steal that from you. We're going to use that as a training tip. Barbara breaks down hers by city so they can send statistics to that specific area. We talked about that. Okay, so Patricia's saying, once I've saved all that information in eEdge, can I make a copy, like a backup, a spreadsheet? You can. It's not necessary, but you can. You can export the data out of eEdge. So you import it in, you can export it out at any time. Mahasa is asking, how do I get to eEdge on the go? You simply pull out your mobile device. You open up your mobile's browser. If you're using an iPhone, you use your Safari browser. If you're using an Android, you use your Chrome browser. And once you have it open, you visit mykw.kw.com. You log in as you normally would. hit enter, and that should take you to eEdge on the go. Great question. Dana's asking, what if we're friendly with two members of a married couple? Do we need separate files? Well, you need two separate email addresses if they do become your clients. So the only time you actually need two separate email addresses is if they actually become your clients. And that way you can send them the appropriate forms through My Transactions. Lisa's asking, what's the name of the app to search for eEdge on the go? It is not an app, Lisa. That's why you can't find it. You just go to your browser, go to mykw.kw.com. So don't try to find it in the App Store. Les is asking, how do I print labels? No easy way to print labels right now. So I don't have a quick answer for you on that. Lisa, what I would say is just simply export the files out of a particular group, or export the files out of eEdge and then print the mailing labels like that. All right, I don't see any other. Okay, wait. And send in those questions. It takes them a minute to get in, but we do want to be done by 2:30. Is there a way to add My KW site to the home screen, even though if it's not an app? Yes, Trina, depending on what kind of phone you have, you want to add it as a bookmark or add it to the home page. So if you have an iPhone, find the shortcut to add it to a home page. Same thing with the Android, but it all depends on what kind of phone you have. What are the questions do we have coming in the next 2 minutes? Lisa's asking, are there tasks that can be added to eEdge? You can absolutely add tasks. They're called reminders. So you can add reminders to eEdge. We do have a task manager, but it does require some work. So I wouldn't look too much at the action plans, but outside of that, the reminders in eEdge work well. Any others? We have less than a minute. We want to be sure we get to them. Great question. Dan is asking, how do you add people who showed up at an open house? Do you send them the introduction or the listing alert or both? Okay, great question, Dana. First thing you want to do is you want to create a form in Google Docs. Google Docs allows you to create sign-in forms. You're going to have to Google how to do that. I don't necessarily have the time to walk you all through that right now, but create a Google Doc that's a sign-in form. And when people walk into your open house, have them sign in electronically. Then you're going to be able to pull the data out of that, first name, last name, email address, put that into eEdge, put them all into an open house group. Now, once they're in that open house group, you can start to communicate to them all kinds of information. What's going on with the open house, when the open house sold, other houses that are available in that area, and so on and so forth. You want to treat them as hot buyers. You want to treat them, you want to put them immediately on the 8x8 campaigns. Okay, so Lisa's also asking, okay, what about the campaigns? How do I add them to the campaigns? Once again, let's download that eEdge Database Quick Start Help Guide, and the ability to find the campaign information is in there. And in fact, I'm going to show you an even easier way of getting to that if you are off of the presentation. Okay, so we're going to visit mykw.kw.com. All right. Now, once we're on MyKW, we're going to hover over the education menu, and you all can click on Keller Williams University. Once you're at Keller Williams University, you will see the eEdge Database Quick Start. It's actually one of our top products. When you click on that, if you're a trainer, download the trainer version. If you are a student, simply click on Toolkit, Student Files, and click on the eEdge Database Quick Start Help Guide. And that will take you to this URL. Isn't that great? All right. I want to thank you all for being a part of today's presentation. And as always, we want you to stay on the edge of real estate technology by using KW Technology. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.